we are live.
Welcome back to the Jiu.jitsu.bros podcast. We have Josh Baker, me, Sean Hathaway, and
Nathaniel Baker.
Boys, we had a good weekend last week with the Who's Number One grappling tournament. Josh, give me some scoop on what all happened.
Man, so we had a lot happen in that card. First off, we had Gordon Ryan pulled out of his match. That was completely unexpected with a rib injury.
Rib injury.
Yeah, and then with a rib injury. And, hey, who knows? It might be his steroid addiction. You never know.
The guy fights with like roaring ear infections on a day, or trains with roaring ear infections on a daily, and then now he's like, oh, I pulled my rib, I can't fight. All right, whatever.
Okay. But anywho, but for the most part, like the card was great, man. Very, very high level guys. Yeah, we had a lot of happen in that card. John, why don't you go ahead and read us some of the names so we can remember some of the matchups?
Exactly. Yeah, just kind of go over it again.
Yeah. Just go back over it again, and we could kind of just talk through what happened.
Exactly right. So yeah, we're getting back to it. We had one of the early matches on, and the female matchup, we had Helena Crevar, the 16-year-old phenom, probably 16-year-old Gordon Ryan just about, and Julia Millet. Obviously, we saw that fight. She did pretty good in that fight against one of the most high-level competitors at IBJJF events. We also had Luke Griffith versus Roosevelt Souza. Rafael Lovato Jr. versus Pedro Marinho.
In the main event.
Exactly, in the main event. Diego Patal versus Diego Reyes. It was Tainan Delfra and Troy Russell and Mika Galvao and Cody Steele. And then the main event, it was Lucas Hoke and Giancarlo Bodoni.
Yeah. So, Bodoni, that wasn't the main event.
Oh wait,
Lovato Jr. was in the main event. But anywho, Bodoni, man, he stepped up on short notice to fight Hulk when Gordon Ryan pulled out, man. These guys have rematched. They've been on each other's heels like their entire black belt careers.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of impressed with Bodoni, man.
Aren't they 4-4 or something crazy like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't exactly remember, but Bodoni on short notice did really, really well. He was actually coming off a loss. I can't remember the guy's name right now, but he used to train with Mika Galvao in that crew. Kudos to Bodoni for stepping up to fight Hulk like that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Mika Galvao and Cody Steele match, man. Dude, so that match actually kind of went how I suspected it to win.
Yeah.
Mika just put on a clinic. He was just like, you're not on my level, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? But Cody Steele, he's just high wrestler pace, high wrestler level, but he's jiu-jitsu is kind of...
Right, yeah, it's not the highest level there. We definitely saw he couldn't really handle all those positions that Mika was putting him in.
Right. What you think?
Yeah, I was super impressed with Galvao, man. He just, the way he put that pace on him, and just, like you said, showed him, hey, you are not on my level. I'm a different breed. I'm here. You're down here, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just the type of guys to make that type of statement. It's just incredible to watch. It's incredible to see them through their career. So, and just how dominant they are, right? Especially like just the way he did it, you know. And it's just, I thought it was incredible. And congrats to him, man. He put on a performance that night.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about that matchup, John?
It was a good one. It was a very good matchup. Obviously showed that, Mika, he's the higher level guy for sure. He was a lot better there. So, yeah, he just put that pace and just showed he's a battle bone guy.
Yeah. So, unexpectedly, Mika's partner, Diego Reyes.
Yes.
Reyes, yeah, something like that. Some Brazilian
Some kind of
name.
something, yeah. Something in Portuguese.
But I don't know exactly what happened to him. He hurt his knee or something in mid-match, and he tapped out. So therefore, Diego Pereiro. I can't pronounce his last name. It's the same thing here. But anyway, the other Diego.
Yeah, Patao.
Yeah, Diego Patao actually won the match on a technicality.
Yeah.
But up until that point, Diego was actually Diego 2. Sorry,
Yeah.
Patao.
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Diego Patao was actually putting the pressure on him. Putting the pressure on Baby Shark.
Yeah, I the way he was his transitions were just so fluid. Both the guys' transitions were very fluid. But how old is Patel? I think he's
25.
25. To be that young and to be competing at such a high level as he is, that's super impressive.
Baby Shark's 21.
Both of them.
Yeah, both
super
of them
impressive.
Yeah. You're just seeing these new breed of jiu-jitsu guys, and they're coming up, and it's just insane at the different level you can see from the older guys and the newer guys, just how much the sport has evolved in the last like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
How fast it has evolved.
For sure.
So yeah. So John, why don't you lead us off with the main event?
Yeah, we had the main event here against Rafael Lovato and Pedro Mourinho. So, man, it was a good fight, y'all. First off, they were going after it.
Sure.
You know, we saw Mourinho definitely start off the first 5 minutes really well. Got 2 takedowns, so definitely scoring, a lot there. We saw him slow down later on in the match. Lovato started to kind of put that pace on him. How are you kind of feeling about that match overall?
A little controversial in the decision, right? Lovato was definitely making things happen towards the end of the match. I mean, you saw the judges were ruling in his favor towards the second half of the match. He was pressuring Pedro. He was trying to make things happen. Pedro was definitely spent a little. He run the gas tank a little bit low.
Yeah.
During that matchup, he kind of burned himself out at the beginning, which I mean, in his favor, right? I mean, he won. He walked away with the victory, and he had the judges' favor in the first half of the match. But I don't know. If it was me judging, just from what I saw Lovato do compared to Pedro, I would have had to give it to Rafael Lovato Jr. because he just was more active towards the second half. He just was making, like I said, he was putting the pressure on him. He was trying to make stuff happen. Judges was ruling in his favor in the second half. Just like every time Pedro was literally like trying to kick his legs out from underneath him, he just was like, nope, still kept going, still kept coming. I'm in your face, I'm clinching with you, We're working for underhooks, overhooks, wizards. We're working for control, right? And I feel like Lovato was the one that was trying to make that happen more than anything. And I don't think it was necessarily a robbery, but I think it was a little controversial from my point of view.
Yeah, it was definitely a close one. Josh, how do you feel?
You see, I disagree. I think Pedro actually won the match. Because if you look at the exchanges in the beginning, Pedro was actually putting the pressure on. He was actually looking for the finish. The only thing that I was a little confused on, because if you look at the rules set for who's number one, it's 3 judges, and they judge the match as a whole. It's based on who is going for the finish more, and Pedro went for more of the finish near the first 5 minutes. It was a 15-minute match. The first 5 minutes, Pedro was doing extremely well, actually looking for the finish. The second 5 minutes, Lovato kind of turned up the pace, started pushing. He wasn't really getting anywhere, but you could see that he was pushing the pace at that point when Pedro started to slow down. Mm-hmm. And then the third Pedro, in the third 5 minutes, Rafael was still putting on the pressure. The only reason I think they ended up giving it to Pedro was because the first 5 minutes, and then in the third 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes, he went for a takedown and got onto the leg. He didn't get the takedown, but he had Lovato in the bad position. So I really think that Pedro actually won that match. He did what he had to do to win it. But he probably should be working on his cardio a little bit more, though.
Yeah, I see your point of view. I see it. Like I said, I'm not.
Are you mad, bro?
I'm not happy, right? But I'm like, congrats to Pedro. Like, I love Pedro, right? Pedro's one of my favorite fighters, but I just think I see what you mean with the submissions attempts and then the takedown attempt at the end. But I just feel like through the rest of the time, Pedro wasn't really doing anything. It was more Lovato trying to make stuff happen that I was more impressed with. But like I said, I'm not this happy with the decision by any means. But I am. I feel a little bad for Rafael, right? I mean, he's up there in age, right? He's
in his 40s.
He's in his 40s, right? So it would have been cool to see him as the who's number one light heavyweight champion of the world. But things happen. You don't go back to the drawing board, as they say. So
exactly.
So John, why don't you tell us how impressed you were with the 16-year-old phenom?
Yeah, man, that, I could say right now that woman could beat the crap out of me. That's what I could say. Yeah, you don't want to upset her on a steak dinner. But yeah, really though, I mean, Helena, like, good lord, 16 years old. I mean, this chick could be a world champion, absolutely. I mean, for real, she went out there with a high-level, IBJJF, European winner, and a very, very solid competitor, and it was giving her everything she could. She was catching her in submissions, trying to go after her. So, I mean, Josh, what were your initial thoughts on after the match?
So I actually got to watch her Helena compete at ACC East Coast Trials in person. I'm actually very impressed. Really, when you started seeing her game, she already kind of had a little bit of a name, but whenever she switched to training with John Danaher, man, you can really see the difference in her game intensity and her technical level.
Yeah.
Man. Like I said, it's just crazy. Like all these people that are coming up, in this new generation, like 16, 17-year-olds, they're already busting through into the big leagues. And it's crazy. It's crazy seeing this new generation and how well they are performing against these people who have been doing it since the early 2000s. It's just crazy how the game has changed. And yeah, for her to do what she did to a high-level competitor like that is phenomenal. It's extremely phenomenal. I mean, she was on her from start to finish, 15 minutes, start to finish, didn't give the girl a single breathing room to do anything. It was impressive, extremely impressive. So, changing the wheels for a minute, guys. So they just released 2 days ago that West Coast Trials ADCC will be in March 30th and 31st. So, yeah, man, that's exciting. That's the last American trials before the actual ADCC, which will be held in Las Vegas, in the T-Mobile Arena in August.
Yeah.
So
let's go.
Yes, man. So that's some big news. Can't wait. I'll actually be competing in that. Now I'll probably be bringing a couple of my guys too, a couple of my students to that as well. Yeah, man, we're gonna have fun at that
tournament.
There'll be a lot of big names there, a lot.
Right.
Yes, for sure. Now, also, so we all just watched last night the UFC card with Benny Dariush. What did you think of that? Like that main event? Like to me, like I feel sorry for Benny Dariush.
Yeah.
Almost. I mean, he made it. He was almost there, almost like in title fight range, and just blew it. What do y'all think about that?
It was very tough. I mean, it's hard for a guy like him. You go on an 8-5 win streak. You're so close. You get a big fight with Charles Oliveira, right? And hey, look, you look good. He looked good the first half of the round, right? He was looking very, very nice. But Charles kept going after him with those head kicks, and finally he got that finish in that fight. And then, unfortunately, come back, few months later, and then the same thing kind of happened where you don't even really get to, kind of get your game going. It almost is like, So, I mean, Armand, he's a good guy. He's a tough competitor, but that's it has to be very disheartening for me. That's a hard loss to have. What else do you kind of think about the matchup?
I'm super happy that we are starting to get some new blood in the top 5, because it feels like it's been Charles, Dustin, Gaethje, just that the guys, especially Poirier and Gaethje, they just are the 2 guys that have beaten everybody except title fights. Right. So it's nice to see some new blood get up in there, and I feel bad for Dariush. I love Dariush. Dariush is a longtime favorite fighter of mine. But I mean, I think he needs to definitely take some time. Definitely take some time, especially after 2 brutal knockouts like that. Go back to the drawing board. Spend time with family, man. Really assess your situation, and if you wanna get back after it, get back after it. If you want to maybe take some fights to kind of get your feet back under you, by all means, do what you gotta do. But take your daggum time, dude, because fighter instinct, you just want to get back in there, right? And
right.
I do not recommend that for him. I think he should definitely enjoy the holidays and just see what's next for him. So.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Definitely a big one for him. Josh, how do you feel about the fight?
Disappointed a little bit. Like, I was really looking forward for Dariush to start coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, 2 first-round losses for his last 2 fights. Like Nathaniel just said, take your time, take a little bit of a break. But I don't recommend taking too long of a break either, because the division's still moving. That train is still gonna go. You gotta jump back on it. Don't do the initial jump back in, but take a little bit of time and then come back next year. Because there's only a few weeks away until we're next year. Maybe come back in August. Come back in August. So yeah, man, I was just shocked.
What would you guys recommend being next for Dariush?
Man, I have no idea. What would you think?
Obviously, he'll probably need somebody in the top 10. I feel like, obviously he's knocked out of contention right now. I think good rebounding fighter for him maybe could even be Dan Hooker once he's kind of getting back in the mix, right? Hey, Dan heals up from his injury. Benil takes some time off to heal from that, and we could see something in the summer, right? Kind of both coming back. That could be an option. But definitely somebody who's in the top 10.
Turner would be a good fight.
Yeah, Turner. That would be another good one. Yeah, Jalen Turner.
You know what would be a good fight? St. Benoist.
Yeah, can you say, Benoist St. Denis.
St. Denis, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if, Benil want to take that fight, he could.
He's in the top 10 now, I think. So, yeah, with his last fight.
So, obviously, Gaethje's getting the next title shot. Shouldn't Max Holloway fight Benny Dariush?
Could
that might be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just a matchup.
Yeah.
Sure. Dariush is... Well, so after that fight, he might be in the top 6 still, probably, right? He was number 4. Yeah. Would he be number 6 or number 7 next?
6 or 7.
6 or 7, probably. That's a... Sorry, my mic started busting. Sorry. We'll take a break and then we'll come back.
Hey guys, we're having some technical difficulties. We will be right back.
I'm taking a quick break from this episode to tell you that we have a merch store. Yes, that is right. If you want to look as snazzy as I do right now wearing one of our hoodies, you can go get it at our merch store. It is in our Instagram bio. Our Instagram is jiu.jitsu.bros. Go check it out so you can look as snazzy as I do right now. Now let's get back to the episode.
And we're back. Thank you for your patience, lovely people.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We had technical difficulties. Something was happening with one of the mics, but we're back now. Now, where were we? We were talking about, I think,
potential matchups with Dirty.
Yeah.
But
Max Holloway, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good. I think that's a pretty decent matchup for Max Holloway to welcome him into the lightweight division. What do you think, John?
You know, I mean, it'd be interesting fight for Beneil to have. I mean, I don't know if Beneil has that pull to get a matchup with Max Holloway. Obviously, if Max is going to move up, he wants a bigger fight. Somebody like Gaethje, somebody like, Poirier if he were to fight them. Charles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you could get it, that'd be a great fight to have, right? I mean, talk about, Iranian penny night, I mean, he'd be making it, man. But, I mean, yeah, and that'd be an awesome challenge for him to really show because Beneil's so good with his ground game. He's so dangerous. So, that would be an interesting matchup for him. So, yeah. And now, also as well, since we are speaking about it, the tarantula man himself, Jalen Turner.
Oh, my gosh.
So, okay. That rep needs to go to jail.
For sure.
Josh, how do you feel about that horrible stoppage?
That was one of the worst stoppage I've ever seen in UFC history. Like, clearly Bobby Green was out on the canvas, and the ref let him take a ton of more damage. Like, the guy could have got brain damage from that.
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah, probably ended up getting brain damage from that. Like, no, you can't do that. When the fighter's head bounces off the canvas, or he stiff boards and falls, that's the end of the fight. It's over. He cannot fight back. Like, that was terrible, but the tarantula man, like, he did what he was supposed to do. He did his job. The ref just didn't do his.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we obviously saw old Green pull out his corpse guard. It's the new thing that people do, But, yeah, that was a really bad stoppage. But Jalen, he has a future. He's coming in, right? He came in on short notice, and him doing it on short notice, getting a knockout like that, that's big. That's a big statement. Nathaniel, what do you think?
Super impressive. Super impressive. I think he should definitely be moving up, get a higher ranked opponent. I'm a little sad. I want to see Dan Hooker and Bobby Green go at it.
I know.
But for sure, I'm super happy for Jalen, man. I think he's one of the best strikers in the division for sure. In the organization, he still has a lot to work to be able to prove that. I'm just so impressed I'm just so at awe for how big he is at 155. Like, we're like 6'3" at 155 pounds. That's insane. like to be able to get down there is just like crazy, especially at that height.
I wonder how long can you keep those weight cuts up? Because that's going to be so tough.
I can't imagine for very long. I mean, I can't imagine for very long, man. That he probably at least walks around like, what would you say? At least
180, 185 at minimum.
Minimum. Yeah. So I don't know. That's different.
Yeah,
sure.
It's gonna be tough. But he's such a scrappy, good finisher. I mean, he just shows that even on this short notice fight, knocking out Bobby Green. I mean, he just makes it happen. The guy's incredible. So I'm excited to see him kind of moving forward and all. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully, this fight hasn't affected Bobby Green's career too much. It may have, but hopefully it didn't severely, hurt him. Because I mean, that was really disappointing stoppage on that ref. He can get out of here now. Whatever his name was, Dan something, I don't know. Yeah, gotta get out of there. Now, gotta talk about Russ card. Honestly, this card, this is an awesome fight night to have. Think about it. This is almost like a pay-per-view level card. I mean, it was really good.
What did you guys think about Davison Figueiredo versus Rob Font? Like him jumping up to bantamweight with that victory? What do y'all think?
Dude, he looked good, man. I mean, he looked really good. Josh, what are you kind of thinking about that fight?
I'm a bigger fan of Figueiredo now.
Yeah.
The dude is. So first off, I thought he was gonna potentially have pillow hands going up another weight class, because usually whenever you're at a smaller weight class, the reason people cut a lot of weight is because they could feel bigger and stronger, right? Which Figgy was probably the biggest flyweight ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for him to go up to 135 and for him to rock font, man, like that, shows that his power is insane. I felt sorry for all those flyweights.
Right.
And it also shows you how good Brandon Moreno was.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets, dude, like for him to take that power from Figgy. I'm in awe of Figgy, man. Like his grappling is really good. Also, he out wrestled Rob Font, that's not saying a whole lot because Rob Font's not a grappler, but still, I mean, Rob Font did pretty good on the ground himself. But also Figgy, he might be the next bantamweight champion of the world. I feel like he might be another 2-division champion.
He might, maybe, yeah. I don't know. I mean, first off, Figgy did really good up there. I mean, he showed, obviously he's still a high level guy, even at another weight class.
Sorry, hang on. The mic was acting up again. Yeah, just try not to catch the cord.
There we go. Perfect.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties through. We're working them out though. But yeah, I mean, he definitely showed, that even if he's a little bit bigger, he definitely performed. Now, one thing I will say, he's definitely not a big bantamweight. Rob Font's a pretty small guy. I mean, he looked a little smaller than Font. So, I mean, he still has the skill. He still can wrestle. He still can do what he can do. That trained from Cejudo, all the experience, it's transferred well. My only worry is as he kind of would climb up the rankings, how he would do whenever he's going to deal with bigger guys who also have really good skill.
Like a Sean O'Malley, like a Corey Sandhagen.
Peter Yan, guys that are much more built for the division. Mm-hmm. It's going to be scarier for him.
What would y'all say his next matchups would be at bantamweight?
Oh.
Honestly, I have no idea what the next matchup would be, but what I want is Henry Cejudo.
They're not.
No, they're not, but dude, they're in the same weight division.
They are now?
Yeah, so, I mean, it makes sense. The 2 flyweight world champions, former world champions, going up to bantamweight and to see who gets the next title shot. That's a story right there.
Yeah.
So who is the real flyweight king?
Demetrius Johnson.
Yes, Demetrius Johnson. Who's the second greatest? But don't tell Henry Cejudo that he thinks he's the greatest. Yeah. But
even he knows.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson is the greatest fighter ever.
No, but there's a storyline there, and stories make fights.
Yeah, I mean they definitely can, but I mean Henry. First off, Henry and Figgy are kind of friends a little bit without him kind of training them. But I mean. Yeah, it's just a reach, especially where Henry can get top level fights. He can get Merab Dvalishvili. He can get top contender fights. Honestly, if he went and he fought Figgy, it wouldn't mean as much. With him not being as big of a guy at bantamweight. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm excited. I mean, hey, look, some new fresh-blooded bantamweight. I think Figueiredo looks so much more comfortable there. He's gonna have healthier weight cuts and he's gonna do a lot better.
I actually think I got 2 guys he could probably fight. Song Yadong or Peter Yan. You can fight Peter Yan.
I was thinking Peter Yan is really who I'm thinking. That, or you got Yadong fighting next weekend. You could have a winner of him or Chris Gutierrez fighting potentially. That could be cool. Yadong is a great guy. He very, very good defensive wrestling. It'd be interesting to see if they could get takedowns on him. That'd be real interesting. I mean,
or who's the guy Corey Sandhagen was gonna fight?
Umar Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, that would be a good one too.
Could, yeah. Have jiu-jitsu versus sambo. Again. That'd be interesting. And then what else? I know we had obviously Clay Guida fighting on the card.
Always fun to see a legend.
Right, dude. Let me get everything pulled up so we have over info again. But dude, Clay Guida, even at 41 years old, he's still making it happen. He's still doing his thing. He lost the fight, obviously. Joaquin Silva. I was really impressed, just with his ability to keep on defending those takedowns and defending kind of the onslaught of Clay Guida. His hands are going everywhere. He's trying to shoot on you. He doesn't have that hair all slap in your face anymore, but they're still dangerous. There's still a lot of stuff there. Josh, what were your thoughts on that?
I'm very impressed with Quake Guida, man. Like, the dude is he's 41 years old. The dude is still crushing it. Like, the dude has been, so I saw a post, it's like, he's been in the sport of MMA for 18 years. 18 years. Nobody has that long of a career. It's almost unheard of. The fact that he was able to go out there and basically beat up a rising, up-and-coming contender. I mean, he lost the fight, but he's able to stand with him and like trade with him, and man, like there were some points of the fight like I thought Guida was gonna knock him out. Like, Guida is a monster. Rightfully should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
for sure. He's already a Hall of Fame for sure. But just to have almost 60 professional MMA fights, right? That's that in itself like is incredible, right? And to still get after it, yeah, super impressed with Clay Guida for sure. Always a fan favorite.
I know, man, dude. He's a killer, man. They've got other matchups: Sean Brady and Kelvin Gastelum. Nathaniel, what are your thoughts on that one?
That weight cut is way too much for Calvin, man. I don't think he belongs at 170. I mean, if he actually did what he was supposed to do, diet and conditioning wise, he probably could get it a normal weight to be able to cut that weight. I just think he's cutting it from what he's too heavy to cut it. Like, he's still too heavy to cut to 170. He's got to get his normal weight lower, walking around weight low. But and then just he's not a grappler. What do you expect when you get a high level jiu-jitsu practitioner and a high level wrestler like Sean Brady? Like that onslaught is not gonna. You can't deal with that, especially when you're depleted like Gastelum was, for sure. That's not gonna be a good combination, and that's what we saw. So
yeah, man, Sean Brady is just too high level of a grappler for Kevin Gastelum. And like you said about the weight cuts, I do think that had a big effect because Sean Brady, he's not known for his striking at all, really. But yet he would throw one good hook and Kelvin would drop. So what I think is, I just think, so if you actually look at how weight cut affects you, if you cut enough weight, so there's a water barrier in between your brain and your like in between your brain and skull. There's like this thin water barrier, and if you cut enough weight, that water barrier goes away, and now you're actually more susceptible to knockouts. Where if you did have the water barrier, you could take more of the hits.
take more damage.
Yeah, take more damage for sure. But yeah, like I just think he just cut too much weight. I think 170 is not his division. I think 185 is. I know he had a little bit of a rough run at 85, but he got a win at 185. I mean, he should have got back on that hype train and started climbing up the mountain again. But yeah, like I just don't think 170 is for Kevin Gastelum.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, he didn't look big at 170. Like, he looked like a healthy weight. He looked nice. His big problem is, we're just having those wrestling habits. Anytime Brady would take him down, he would get on all fours and go to turtle. And you just can't do that with Sean Brady. You can't. You're going to get your back taken.
That irritates the fire out of me for wrestlers in MMA.
Yeah, you can't.
Cannot go belly down.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Especially with a high-level jiu-jitsu guy. They will take your back, and they will put you to sleep. You cannot do that.
Like, and honestly, Kelvin almost seemed too small in there. Honestly, it's weird. I guess Sean he's a big, stocky dude, but Kelvin seemed too small in there because Sean just manhandled him, I think a 170 could maybe be better, but like, I don't know, he would look small and weaker in there. Brady just was all over him.
And also, let's address these MMA guys, why do they cross their feet when they have their back? Let's address that for a minute. What is going on? I mean, day one of jiu-jitsu class, they tell you as soon as you get somebody's back and put your hooks in, don't cross your feet.
Yeah.
What is going on? Like, what are y'all thought? What do you think the mentality of these guys are?
I don't know, but they don't get penalized for it. It's a weird thing. Nobody catches them on it, you know. So like you can just freely get away with it. Even high level jiu-jitsu guys do it, and like, but nobody is catching them in it, you know. Like, it's weird, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just a lack of knowledge because people are still trying to find. I feel like jiu-jitsu is very underestimated in MMA and very just untapped, right? There's a lot of what if, like there's so many questions about jiu-jitsu and MMA still, surprisingly. What works, what doesn't work for MMA, what transfers over from the traditional sport to the cage, right? And I feel like a lot of people are focused more on control than finding out what actually works.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, I know I'm not explaining it very well, but they're so focused on I just gotta control, and then so with the crossing the feet, for example, they cross their feet, I just need to control them. I'm gonna sit up, I'm gonna rain down ground and pound to be able to finish them, right? Whereas like no, let me just pinch my knees and then maybe get a body triangle and then work for the finish. Position over submission or finish is my philosophy. Most people get excited or however and just try to jump for guillotines, jump for try to just rain down ground and pound or so on and so forth, man. And I just feel like a lot of people are still a little ignorant in the MMA world when it comes to jiu-jitsu. But I feel like we are kind of starting to see a lot more high-level guys, like a Charles Oliveira, like a Brunel Dariush, like Alexandra Pantoja. Guys like that are starting to see a lot more the benefits of jiu-jitsu and MMA. So I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think, man?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when I watch MMA grappling, I'm just like, do y'all even know how to do jiu-jitsu? Because they do a lot of stuff wrong. A lot of these MMA guys, like, honestly, like Benil and Charles are like some of the only guys I see that don't really do a lot of wrong stuff that jiu-jitsu is known for. And this crazy thing to me is like we were saying, like Sean Brady, a black belt jiu-jitsu, a lot of these black belts in jiu-jitsu are doing day one mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, who is their coach? Who is promoting the black belt if they're making day one mistakes? Is it an MMA an MMA grappling black belt, or is it a jiu-jitsu black belt? If it's a jiu-jitsu black belt, then you should know, don't cross your feet.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. I just feel like these MMA guys, they get promoted differently in jiu-jitsu than say like a lot of just normal jiu-jitsu guys. Like for instance, like if you look at Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till. Tyron Woodley got his jiu-jitsu black belt once he submitted Darren Till. Darren Till is not like a high-level grappler. Why did Tyron Woodley get a black belt? Tyron Woodley hadn't had that many submissions. So like, do you promote MMA grappling different from just normal jiu-jitsu? Like,
well, it's all jiu-jitsu, so I mean, you're not.
Yeah.
And you remember, it's always different. I mean, you have Rodolfo Vieira, who's a world champion, a killer. I mean, that guy, he's a predator, and he got submitted by Anthony Hernandez, who's a no-name black belt in their fight, right? So it is a little bit different, right? Thank you if you get hit, punch in the gut, right? You can get a little bit different there because he got guillotined by Vieira in their fight. Just as an example.
Yeah.
He's a world champion. He's an ADCC world champion. He should not be getting submitted like that.
Yeah.
So with something, it just, but it's weird though because there's a lot of high-level, really good jiu-jitsu guys. It's just, they make somehow these little small mistakes here and there. It's weird. Like.
Yeah, like laying on your back flat in half guard.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to me. Like, why? What's the reasoning behind these mistakes, or are they even mistakes in MMA?
Yeah.
That it might be mistakes in normal jiu-jitsu, but are they mistakes in the MMA? So I don't know. I would like to like get somebody to come out and like talk to us about why what's up with these little mistakes that these high level MMA guys make in their jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I think that would be very, very interesting.
Right. Yeah. So Nathaniel, I know you kind of spoke, but I wonder some of your other thoughts on it, just as far as.
Like I said, I think it's just a little bit. It hasn't caught up with the MMA community just yet, but I do think it is kind of funny that people, guys like Justin Gaethje or guys like these heavy wrestlers or strikers are like, oh, jiu-jitsu doesn't work. You don't need jiu-jitsu, right?
They're the ones getting
They
choked
get
out.
submitted. He got submitted in both of his title fights, and then he what was it? And not to mention the very first UFC or the two first very UFC cards. Who was the champ when they were doing Styles versus Styles, right? Not MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? Royce Gracie was the first ever UFC world champion, right? That should in alone should be a statement in your head and be like, oh, this crap works, right? So I just don't get it. I don't get it. The ignorance of people, and I'm not saying wrestling doesn't work. Wrestling works, right? To a degree.
Well, where do you combine it with jiu-jitsu? It's killer.
When you combine it, you are unstoppable.
Because each of them on their own, they're not, they won't be great in MMA if you just have each of them completely on their own.
Why do you think these Dagestani Sambo guys are so good, right? It's jiu-jitsu and wrestling put together.
Yeah, you're just mixing it up.
I do think a lot of Sambo guys are a little bit ignorant when it comes to the capability of jiu-jitsu, right? But that's a whole different topic. But whatever, yeah.
Well, they're good.
Oh, here we go. Are we gonna start crapping on Sambo now?
I'm not. They're champions for a reason.
But also going on with what Josh was saying, like the Tyron Woodley thing. When somebody like Khamzat Chimaev gets promoted to brown belt for out wrestling a wrestler. Not even.
No, he didn't get promoted to brown.
Yeah, purple belt.
But no, the Usman fight he got promoted to brown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if you're getting promoted. I think that his coach is like, hey, we're probably going to give you a promotion. I mean, think about it, like, if you're about to be getting promoted to brown belt, and you're like, well, I'm about to be getting a team, and then maybe you have a really good time in the jiu-jitsu tournament, you like place first IBJJF. Like, hey, you know what, maybe I'll give it to you now. If you already kind of had it coming, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're giving it to him because he won that fight.
Yeah, that's understandable. But I'm telling you, come on, bro. Like,
but you don't know all the things behind it, though, right?
I know I don't know all the things behind it, and I'll admit that. But just from what it looks like, from an outside,
it looks right. Yeah.
I will 100% look. I don't know the ins and outs, right? But just from a fan's point of view, I'm just like, come on, man, that's not a good look.
It sure didn't look that way. Yeah.
But we're also talking about Chimaev here. Like, the dude has done wrestling and sambo, and he's on high level ground. He's done some jiu-jitsu tournaments too, you know.
I'll admit he's good, but I'm still a little iffy on Chimaev. But
he's a high level guy, man.
No, he's high level. I'm not saying he's not high level, but what is he gonna do in the 5-minute rounds, right? What is he gonna do in those championship rounds? Because we saw the Gilbert Burns fight and the Usman fight, he was gassed at the end of their fight, and those are 3 rounds. Those aren't championship rounds.
I wouldn't say he was gassed at the end of the Usman fight.
He was kind of tight. Yeah, he was. Yeah, the cardio is a big issue for him. We're able to see how. And again, I want to see him in a 5-rounder, right? We almost got that with Nate Diaz, but we didn't. 5 rounds would be really interesting because he has a hard time carrying through on that fight. It's really tough,
Yeah, I'm not denying that, but it just that he doesn't have that great of cardio, but he looked like he was improved a little bit more when he fought the Usman.
Yeah.
So I think he's working on it. I think that's something he's working on.
And he was a lot more calibrated in that fight. He was so much more careful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess he didn't want the old Nigerian man to snap his head back too much. But yeah, he was a lot more careful in that fight. I will give him that. He was like, I was like, whoa, he's actually being smart. I honestly thought he was going to shoot on Kamaru as soon as possible. Like, you know, he was very intelligent in that fight. I was like, okay, yeah, you're learning, yeah.
I actually kind of want to change the direction from the from the UFC talk, but I want to talk about the current bantamweight, Muay Thai, and kickboxing world champion from one championship, Jonathan Haggerty. What is next for Jonathan Haggerty?
Jonathan Haggerty. Jonathan Haggerty is the man. I actually want him to be. Would he be the? I think he would be the first. I think he'll be the first person to be the 3-sport world champion in one championship. If one, we're not talking about the UFC Wonder Boy, but Wonder Boy accepts the fight.
Entourage, I think is his
Yeah,
last name.
Entourage.
Yeah. Fabricio.
Fabricio Entourage. Yeah.
How do you think he does transfer it over to MMA? Because with the grappling and everything, because his father was an MMA fighter, he has had training in grappling. Do you think he's just too powerful of a striker to for Wonder Boy's grappling?
No, I don't think here's the thing. Wonder Boy he's a straight up striker like our UFC Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
No, so there's no grappling threat. Why do you think he wants to transfer over to MMA and fight for his title in particular? Because he knows that dude's not a grappler.
Mm-hmm.
So he can learn grappling. I'm sure he knows grappling. I'm sure he knows jiu-jitsu. But will he relearn it in time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the real question.
For sure.
But with this fight, it's a safe fight that his opponent would not shoot a takedown on him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
he would not hold on to that title for very long. Though. One of the wrestlers will come up and totally slam him into the ground.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
What?
So even think about Alex Pereira, wherever he fought Izzy, he has some experience. He got out wrestled by Izzy. Yeah, so it's it just takes time. It takes time to learn it. And again, he is getting better, but
I love Pereira, but his jiu-jitsu makes me his grappling just makes me cringe.
yeah, it's gonna
It makes me cringe, dude.
yeah.
I'm just like, what are you doing?
The fact that he is a two division champion in the UFC is crazy.
Because
He's grappling. It's so crazy.
Hey, you gotta say he almost got Prohaska with the guillotine.
Yeah.
He almost did. But yeah,
And his coach is Glover Teixeira.
They think. Come on, Glover. Teach him some guard.
Teach him at least how to get back up. Which, I mean, he did very well.
Yeah, he's improving, it's incredible, man. That guy is so dangerous. It's going to be interesting. I wonder who's really going to be... it's probably going to be Yuri and Jamal. But, yeah, I guess, with Jamal going to jail and all that for beating up on his brother, I guess he gave him a little too much brotherly love. Yeah, that was interesting. But, yeah, I guess it'll probably still be him and Jamal, and that's going to be interesting because Jamal can grapple. He's a wrestler. Now, will he choose to? Hopefully he does. Pereira, he's a dangerous light heavyweight. That left hook, for him it's right hook hospital, left hook cemetery, Yeah, he's a modern day crow cop with his hands.
For sure.
Now, do you think Pereira could be the first 3-division champion? Well, no, that's PJ Penn, huh? No. No, I thought he was a champion.
Nobody's been a 3-division champion.
No. But do you think Pereira could be? Because could he move up the heavyweight and fight? Well, let's say hypothetically John Jones vacates the title, and now Tom Aspinall is the reigning defending heavyweight champion. How do you think that matchup would go if Pereira decides to move up to heavyweight to claim a 3rd belt?
It's interesting.
Not good.
Aspinall moves real. Let's just say, because Pereira's probably 225, 230 right now. he gains like 15 pounds or 20 pounds, he'd be 245, 250. So he'd be a heavyweight, right? I mean, reasonable, right? He could take that time to gain the weight. But fighting at Tom Hospital, I just don't know. Honestly, I'm sure his power could still probably translate even at heavyweight. But I just wonder about Tom Hospital's movement and his ability to grapple and just be very fluent. I wonder, is Pereira still the same guy if he gains another 20 pounds? Nathaniel, what do you kind of think?
Aspinall's gonna out grapple him.
Yeah.
Like and I think he might even get knocked out, dude. Like
yeah.
Aspinall moves like a middleweight at heavyweight. That is the most incredible thing ever, right? To see a big boy like that move around like he's a lightweight, like from a lighter weight class. Pereira, he's already kind of stiff.
Yeah.
Not like he's more focused on power than speed, right? So if you add an extra 15 pounds, how much slower is he gonna be?
Right.
And then Aspinall already has the grappling advantage, right? So I don't think that's a good matchup. I don't think he should go up. I think he should stay right where he's at.
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot of good matchups that he could really do well in.
Yeah.
At 205. So I think just leave it alone right now.
Yeah, it's a risky fight. Big risk, big reward. Josh, what do you think? You got that look in your eyes. You think Pereira?
You know what? I'll go out on the say Pereira.
Yeah.
We're talking about literally hands of stone, and plus, who's the guy who just fought Derek Lewis?
Jolton Almeida.
Yeah, Jolton Almeida. The dude is 230. He's not like a real heavyweight 260,
right, yeah.
And he's doing very well. I think Pereira can definitely go up and claim the heavyweight title. It just depends on who is the champion at that point. Honestly, wouldn't it be interesting for him to fight John Jones?
I don't know if he would. I mean, I don't know.
It'd be entertaining, the lead up. But it would be like a serial gone moment, I feel like, just faster.
Yeah. It's and John's probably gonna fight one more time. I mean, John's gonna pull for that Stipe fight. I know. I mean, what should happen is Aspinall and Stipe should fight for the title, for the interim title. Aspinall the title defense. Maybe they're really. I feel like I mean, Stipe wants that money fight. John wants that money fight. And look, you get to fight an older guy that's more in your position. Let's be real. Aspinall's bad to the bone, man. I mean, he's knocking at everybody, dude. I mean, he's like a little white Francis Ngannou, but he's really, really, really technical. I mean, he just finished everybody, and he's so skillful. So
and took out the boogeyman of the division already. In Sergey.
Yeah, right. He finished. I mean, dude, Sergey's a fast finisher, and he finished him really quick. Like what? So, yeah, heavyweight. I hope that division does settle. Finally, I think it'll, after this whole Jones Stipe thing, I think it'll kind of settle a little more. We'll really get some more rhythm to it because it is so crazy right now.
Yeah. So let's change gears for a minute. What do y'all think about that bare knuckle fight with Eddie Alvarez and Mike Perry? Because that's a perfect.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's the first bare knuckle fight that we actually sat down and watched the card. I actually loved it, dude. That was fun. What did y'all think about it?
Dude, it's way more entertaining than normal boxing. Yeah, it's fun, man. I mean, it's just a different sport, and it's a lot crazier. I love the finishes, a lot bloodier. I mean, we have seen some crazy cuts. That one, Mexican guy looked like he just came out of the carpenter shop. That dude got cut up so bad. So it was fun. We have a new king of violence. So,
yep.
Nathaniel, what you thinking?
Super entertaining. A little disappointed for Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
Super happy for Mike Perry. That's his jam over there, man. Making that money, and he's the king of violence, man. I was really impressed with that featherweight title fight. I really liked the guys fighting in there. Super snazzy, super fun to watch. Such a unique sport, man, and I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't do it, right? I'm not.
Oh,
brave
heck no.
I'm not brave enough to do that, but.
You won't like Mr. Carpenter, man.
No.
Yeah, those cuts are so nasty. Ugh. That's crazy. That are insane.
You're a different type of psych though if you want to do that.
Right,
So,
yeah.
But
Gotta be a Mike Perry kind of guy.
congrats to Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Making money and doing what he does, man.
Exactly.
But that's not my thing.
Let the
Getting
Mike
punched in the
back.
face with a bare knuckle fist. No, no, thank you.
That's something.
Yeah, I just thought that was I think it was interesting, man. Like just to show you how well actually those MMA gloves actually protect you from being cut.
Right.
Because those bare knuckles, man, like they were getting cut every like few seconds, like getting cuts on their face, like really bad like stitches cuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Terrible.
I just thought it was interesting, and I'll definitely be keeping up with the sport now since it looks like it's starting to take off and it's actually highly entertaining. They actually got some guys that look like they're gonna be names in the sport.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So with that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead and end the podcast right here, and we'll see y'all guys in the next episode.
Jiu-Jitsu Bros.
Peace.